Now up to the sun, they let come together as one. They say you not there, we stand, if I there we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. While you forget it, you from Lower Country, you from Maryland. While you from Rewa says, I'm a bad way on your river, I'm up on the fine way.
And it's my hope that you have
from the east to the west, north to the south, they let come together as one. They say you not there, we stand as one. They say you're not there, we stand.
And so tonight, whatever you are doing, however you're doing it, and you're listening to ELBC Radio from any part of the world or any part of Liberia, I'd like to welcome you to this evening's edition of the program. Let me say good evening to you, Daniel Nooks Thomas.
Good evening, Titi. Good evening to the awesome staffs here at ELBC.
Happy Thanksgiving Day.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, and happy Thanksgiving to His Excellency President Dr. George Weah and the people of Liberia. It's been so good being back here.
Okay, great. Today's a holiday. We know a lot of people are, enjoying themselves at home. But again, I know all of you find the time to kind of listen to us and hear what's unfolding in our country. We told you last evening that we will play host to Henry Costa this evening on Open Conversation. So 30 minutes from now, we will have Henry sit with us and we will talk politics on this radio. But we have a trend of this program has a trend. The first 30 minutes are dedicated to what's trending in our country. And so we'll talk about what's trending in Liberia today. Like I said, this is a political show, and so most of what we talk here is politics. Because today is a holiday, not much happened, but a lot of things happen politically, and we're going to talk about some of those things. We know that ALCOP endorsed the Unity Party today, but not only that, endorsement was a divided endorsement because the standard bearer of ALCOP and his group of people endorsed the Unity Party standard bearer for the runoff, but also the vice standard bearer of ALCOP and his group of people who believe in the Coalition for Democratic Change or believe in President Weah's leadership endorsed him, and they are called Concerned ALCOP Citizens. And so this evening we will speak shortly with a key member of ALCOP who is the advisor. I don't know whether I can say he is currently the advisor, but who served as the advisor. Maybe he served up to today because they went their separate ways today. The advisor to the standard bearer of ALCOP on security. We will speak with him because he's the chairman, and the chairperson is that person who forms that group if he wants to separate from your group. So he's the chair of the Concerned ALCOP Citizens who endorsed President Weah's re-election bid today. And his name is Habib Kamara. Habib Kamara was the security advisor to Lucini Kamara. So Lucini Kamara, the standard bearer of ALCOP. So we'll speak with Habib shortly during these 30 minutes. And then we'll talk about what happened today during these two endorsements. So,
thank you, Titi. What happened today during the endorsement of the president by, the concerned ALCOP members? It's a conscious alertness of fellow Islamic brothers and sisters that are moving away from a selfish decision made, quote unquote, by the standard bearer to endorse the candidacy of former Vice President Joseph Boakai. There are too many things that are interplay with regards to the fragmented or endorsements that were done, and the president, what you witnessed today. One, The Christian brothers and sisters, the Islamic brothers and sisters are overly alert over the fact that this person has done way much more for that community as compared to a former vice president who went to Lofa in Foya and informed the people of Foya, the church, saying thank you to them for disallowing Islam to spread in Foya. They are also aware that it is this president that has created the opportunities for Islamic sisters to wear hijab in the different public schools. They are also aware that the president has financed opportunities for Islamic brothers and sisters to make a pilgrimage to Mecca. So the decision made by the standard bearer out of selfish political interest, you know, there's a key thing that's been playing in the public, and I want to talk about. A lot of the very Islamic brothers and sisters are saying his decision is bent on the fact that the president removed Kabila Janneh, who they believe was a strong member of the Islamic community. But the argument has been countered that in as much as it was not the decision of the president, but that Kabila Janneh was replaced with Yusuf Kaba. And the big question that is currently troubling the Islamic community is Kabila Janneh more Muslim than Yusuf Kaba? Is he more qualified judiciously than Yusuf Kaba? The answer has been no. So if you were making a decision to take our party to somebody who is currently in marriage with an individual who spearhead the massive massacre of our own people, one, we're not going to sugarcoat that. Senator Johnson was among people who masterminded the mass slaughter of Manigo brothers and sisters in this country. Also, insult the injury, former Vice President Joseph Boakai was a chairperson for the Lofa Defense Force that had no Muslim brothers and sisters on his council. To take the party that has enjoyed peace and sanctity, that has enjoyed the benefits of the president's developmental agenda, to a person that's deprived the very Islamic community. Let's look at the difference in terms of activities. This is the president in the history of Liberia that has created an opportunity for an Islamic advisor to the president. No president has done that in our country's history.
No.
There was never a time in the history of presidency that the president had an Islamic advisor. President Weah has done that. He didn't just do it, but he brought one of the most despised in our sector, as many will say, the Fullahs that are bearing with us as long as history tells us. Currently, a Fullah is leading that aspect of the president's advisory on Islamic matters. Vice President Boakai can never show us, former Vice President, any time in the history of this country where he's openly identified with the Islamic community in terms of recognizing them as part and parcel of Liberia.
But the former Vice President has not been able to identify with his own
people of
partisans, not only the people of Lofa, but people who have done well for him, who have sacrificed for him, like the likes of Yeke Koluba. You heard the young people, the first time about the Unity Party, who have said that they are endorsing President Weah today because the former vice president, who did not give them any money to campaign and who did not give them any, thing to campaign with, because they trusted that he will be a good statesman. They put themselves out there. But today they're disappointed in him, and then they're endorsing, the president of the Republic of Liberia because they believe that he cares for the young people. So he doesn't have a history of, appreciating people for anything. How does he appreciate, the Muslim community? I heard him say today that, we will have a country under Joseph Boakai. You have a country where the Muslims and the Christians will live together in harmony.
Can you imagine that?
Don't we live together in harmony? Is that the only thing you can promise these people?
Can you imagine that?
And these people have a whole dossier of things they want him to do. He does not. I continue to say that the former vice president, whenever he goes to these gatherings and he is giving any proposal,
he just accepts.
He only accepts that proposal, but does not say what he's going to do.
And charge them afterwards.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
The difference between the former vice president and President Weah is that if the president goes to a community or to see a group of people and these people have a proposal for the president, he sits right there. If he knows that his ministers, his able deputies can do that, he gives instruction and say, I want this to happen because this is what these people want. Let's take an example in district number 17. The lights you see that, the people are enjoying now today, when the president went there during, the campaign period, that was one of the things that people asked for. And he said, I will give it to you. Last week, Friday, he was there putting the lights on.
Yep.
But the former vice president goes to these programs. They will tell him, if you're president, this is what we want you to do for us. This is what we want. He doesn't even speak to that issue.
Nope.
Whatever you ask him for, he doesn't speak to it. He said he will make the Muslims and the Christians under his leadership live together in harmony. Like seriously, like we're fighting one another as Christians and Muslims. That tells you that he doesn't even have an agenda for the country nor for the people he is interacting with at the moment.
But Titi, the entire 12 years that former Vice President Bouaka served, he cannot give you for a record what he's done for the Islamic community. It is quite unfortunate to note now that history has got a way of reminding us as Liberians. To come back today to say to us, when we had this Christian-Muslim crisis in this country, you can remember.
So let me go you there and let us talk to Mr. Kamara, who we have on the line.
Okay.
Mr. Kamara is the chairperson of the Concerned ACOP Citizens. He also served as the security advisor to Lucini Kamara, who is the standard bearer of ACOP. Mr. Kamara, welcome to Open Conversation, and thank you for taking our call this evening. Good evening, Mr. Kamara.
So much. Yeah, good evening. How about you?
How are you, sir?
Yeah, praise God, I'm good.
Wonderful. So a few questions I want to ask you. So Lucini Kamara, who you served as a security advisor to, who is the standard bearer of the ACOP, today endorsed former Vice President Joseph Yuma Bouaka. But also today we saw you as chairperson of Concerned ACOP endorsing President Weah and saying to the people that you want them to vote President Weah in this runoff. What really happened?
Thank you so much. In politics, there come a time that everyone have a reason to go their own way. And ACOP is not just like any other political party, meaning ACOP is not just a mere political party. It's a revolutionary movement representing both the former fighting men and the Muslim community. When the decision was being taken by half member of the executive committee to go to CD7 to go to Unity Party, that did not come down with us. But before then, we have engaged other council that there is a need for us to have a committee set aside the ACO negotiation team, so in order to have one direction, in terms of making decision what's to support. But then, to our greater surprise, the other council will depend on rightly by instructing Honorable Lucini Kamara to go to Unity Party. So that was their position, and that did not come down with us. There is a movement that men and women wasted blood and sweat along the road. So making such a decision should be, decision that all should be inclusive. Not only part of the political wing should have the discussion. We also have role to play, a pivotal role. So what came was, against the backdrop, we immediately decided to indulge the CDC.
Okay, so you're telling me that a group of is it the executive committee members who chose to support Unity Party, and how will you refer to the group of people who decided to support President George Weah?
In fact, for your information, the vice standard running mate to Honorable Lucina Camara even had his own endorsement program today at the Colonial Hotel. So that shows you how divided the National Executive Committee were involving into the decision to go to Unity Party. But however, we are so concerned about the community, the largest community. That's what we are concerned about. And we cannot just sit and see just few members of the party taking the party to where we have no future, no direction. And whatever we allow the party to go through, and we sit to say nothing. Generation after generation, we caution our children and great-grandchildren. What did your father do when things were going wrong in our community? What did your grandmother do when things were going wrong in our community? They was alive. Even our comrades that lost their life along the road, they will be turning around angrily in the grave. Just get you on track. 2005, when Professor Alhaji Kumar was still alive, he worked alongside with CDC. So ACOP and CDC have been in line since 2005 up to the demise of the late Professor Alhaji Kumar. So there was no way, in any way, if the professor were alive, we are going to Unity Party instead of CDC. So we stand in the shoes of the professor to respect his legacy and respect what he taught us, that we should stand firm no matter what.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. I know you talked about Matthew Dablo, who was the vice running mate to Lucina Camara, your standard bearer, who also endorsed President Weah today. What I want to know from you is, these elections are all about vote and votes. Endorsing President Weah is one thing, and getting him to win these elections is another thing. How prepared are you to make sure that your people who you've brought to the CDC go out there and vote President Weah? And how many people from the party do you think followed you to the CDC?
We have the youth, we have the student grouping, we have the imams, we have those are contested on the ACOP ticket during the representative and senatorial elections, and we have stakeholders within the community that are in full support of the endeavors. And besides that, today was just a prelude. We are going to start working on things as of tomorrow. And before the election day, we're going to have mass induction program for Your Excellency from the community. That's what we are planning to do. That's just a prelude of what we're going to do in the future. As of tomorrow, we'll start moving. We're going to engage fully in the campaign. Not only stand on the podium and give good speeches, but to also go down on the field to make people understand that George Weah is a choice of us. George Weah is our direction. George Weah has the link with the Muslim community since 1986 from Muslim Congress as well. And President Weah have been very helpful to the Muslim community. So against the backdrop, we will make sure our people will come in the numbers to have President Weah elected for the second term, inshallah.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. If I know I heard yesterday, even the Youth League chair of ACOP was the one who read the position statement of all youth leagues from other parties who joined the CDC yesterday. So I agree with you when you say the young people, the youth league of your party, so the young people are with you on this decision. But you said the imams are with you. You said some people who ran on your ticket are also with you when it comes to this decision. Then who are those with Lucina Camara now, the standard bearer?
you know, when it comes to matter of a choice, everybody have the right to go where they want to go. Those that were there today were those that you saw on television, maybe if you watch a program. But we were so busy on the phone. We were so busy with our program, and I can't tell you exactly who all were there. And even those that were there with him, they are in line with us. But maybe for some reason, they don't come in the open. But in the long run, before the mass induction or endorsement of President George Manneh Weah, you're going to see all of them in full.
Is there any other thing you want to say before I take leave of you?
Yes, and I want to also say a very big thank you to the organizing committee, a big thank you to the Imam Council, the youth, the women, the elders, the driver union, the musicians, and all of our partisans that make it their duty today to go and make our day great. Whatever Professor Alayi Jivi Kroma is today looking down on us, I know he's very joyful. I want to tell them thank you. We appreciate what they did today, and God's willing, they'll be hearing from us as soon as possible to continue the movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Thanks for talking to us. So Abid Kamara is the security advisor to ALCOP standard bearer, Lucini Kamara, and Abid is also the chairman of Concerned ALCOP Citizens who endorsed President Weah today. And you listen to him. We've got just 4 minutes to talk about this, and then we bring in our guests.
So like I was saying earlier before you had him on the phone, you see, this is about gratitude. This is gratitude against politics. All right? This is a group of people with a historicity of goodness coming from an individual who understands what the Islamic community is a part of in Liberia. This is not just about politics. We as Liberians must move away from this divisive and chauvinistic idea that because I'm leading a movement, so all other persons should follow the decision that I will make. Like I said earlier, Lucini's decision, not on behalf of the entire membership of ALCOP. It paints a different picture of a revolution that may overtake ALCOP. You listened to the Youth League chairperson yesterday. He was very blunt. You saw the women wing yesterday as well. Mm-hmm. Today, the people that encapsulated the entire program were all Islamic brothers and sisters yearning for extending a true nature of gratitude. There's never been a history of former Vice President Bouaka giving key identification to the Islamic community. Over the last 12 years, they didn't see the importance of the Islamic community until President Weah brought the Islamic community as a part and made them an advisor on Islamic matters. Today, they have that recognition. Are we saying all of the gratitudes have been expressed by the president? All of a sudden, it's just down a dream because somebody thinks Kabine Janneh has got a final say with ALCOP? This is a new revolution. The young people are alert to situations that are happening around them. Fortunately for us and for our dispensation, the world has been revolutionized technologically. And because of real-time happening events, people are making sound decisions. So what you saw today, that endorsement of the Unity Party was a frame. The meat and the substance of the true endorsement was the one that was done by for the president. So they're joking. The same thing we said with LPP. You've seen it today. Edith is now in Nimba. She's making all the big swings. ALCOP, you just listen to the security advisor to the standard bearer. Imagine a man who has the nitty-gritty of the standard bearers movement and advises him on giving pieces of advice on issues as it relates to different activities. If this man moves away, it's because this man is tired of being ungrateful. Very much tired of being ungrateful. And that's something that I like the way it went before we introduce our brother. I like the way it went today because Liberians are no longer sleeping. They refuse to be like Sleepy Joe. They're never going to sleep. They are light. They're waking. Look, this is our generation. We disagree to allow people who lived in their generation, the 60s, the 70s, abused our generation in the 80s. In the 90s, we had to call our mothers and our fathers. Today, we have our children. We make the decision for our country. And the decision is we don't want former Vice President Bouaka. And that's the final Liberians are speaking. So I'll leave it there.
You know, you couldn't have said it any better. The thing about it is I like our democracy. We know back in the days, if your parents said something to you, even though that thing wasn't the right thing to do, you will say, because my parents said I should do this, I will do that. But now people eyes are opening and they know the real truth. If the young people of ARCOP yesterday could join other young people and say that we are going behind President Weah because we believe what he has done, and we're hearing today that Mr. Kamara just said that President Weah has been with the Muslim community since the 80s. He has a record. If your record cannot speak for you today, if it can speak for you today, when is it going to speak for you? If you want to do anything for Liberian people, if you're running in any elections, your records, your past records must speak for you. And it's a sad thing that the former vice president doesn't have a record. But again, like you said, you know, sometimes the old people, because Mr. Kamara said it, you know, they have a meeting because they are the bosses. They say, okay, let's go this way. But everybody will not go your way because we don't see things the same way. ARCOP is not in these elections anymore. It's about Unity Party and CDC. And if you are of voting age and you know who helps you and who can make your life better, you go that way instead of saying, I will follow my grandpa and my grandmother. So that's
Titi,
yeah.
Titi, the antiques of history lies in the wisdom of an elder. It's unfortunate that this old man we're talking about lacks all of the key ingredients of Liberia's history. So it tells us that if we were dependent on our history, if Joseph Bouaka would be one of the very erroneous historians we have in our country, a man who expresses ingratitude as if he's drinking a cup of tea. This is something that's serious. Our dispensation, like the H. family who talked trash the other day, we would disallow these people to misuse us in our dispensation, in our generation. We must lay the foundation for our children, and to do that, we will have to do away with all the negatives and the betrayals of these people. So we prepare for that.
Okay, let's take a short break. When we come back, we usher in Henry Costa, who is already with us in studio. Stay with us, please.
From the east to the west.
It's funny. They hold hands together that had a boy here. Anyway, but this is it. Welcome back to Open Conversation on ELBC Radio. And our guest is here, Mr. Henry Costa. Thank you so much for taking up your time to sit with us this evening on Open Conversation. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Very, very well. Thank you very much. And thanks for the great job here I saw as I walked in. What a fantastic job you guys have done here. The place is very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go straight into it. Costa, all things considered, what primarily, motivated your support for President Weah's re-election?
That's a brilliant question, and I'm not surprised that that is the very first question you asked, coming from a very veteran journalist such as yourself. Lots of reasons. Lots of reasons. But I'm going to be very honest with you.
Okay.
The very first reason is that we could no longer work with Joe Boakai. We are a political party, the All Liberian Party. We began supporting former Vice President Joe Boakai in 2017 in a runoff. We continue to support him financially and politically over the years. In fact, we were the bedrock for his very material sustenance over the years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars we invested in him. And we believe we had a reliable partner. We believe we had someone who we could trust. But Joseph Boakai is not a trustworthy man. And that is the very reason why Mrs. Salive and him don't get along. As someone who picked him up from nowhere, he has an inherent attitude of ingratitude. And such a man cannot be a good leader because, you see, when the people vote for you, they're giving you something, they're paying you something. In return, when you come to power, you have to show gratitude. So if he cannot now show gratitude to people who support him, how can he be a good leader? You see? So aside from that, he's not trustworthy. He tells you something and he does something completely different.
What do you mean?
He told us, for example, that he would not pick Jeremiah Cohen and Prince Johnson. We were very clear with him that we could not work with those people. We made it very clear. And he said to us he would not do it. And he proceeded to do it. He stopped talking to us for 3 weeks, made his decision, and then came back to us and was expecting that we were going to change our minds and suddenly accept it because the old wise Joe Boakai has made a decision for all of us. It doesn't work that way. You have allies and collaborators and partners. You must consult with them. And he does not regard that. He thinks he knows it all. And that's why he never won 2017. That's why he's not going to win in 2023.
I assure you he's not going to win in 2023.
He's not going to win. I mean, look at the, statistically, look at the numbers. President Weah did a fantastic job. We surprised many people, myself included. I'm going to be honest with you. Because I was his harshest critic. Yep. But I saw the election results, TT. 804,000 votes. And with all the propaganda and all the work we did, I was surprised. Really was. And impressed.
That is where my next question is coming from. There are those who have jumped to conclusions that you have been a long time fierce critic of our President Weah, and suddenly you affirm your support for him. They are already jumping to conclusions and calling you all kinds of names: sellout, loss of integrity, betrayal, lack of credibility, and so on and so on. Are you bothered by all of this?
No, Didi, I'm not.
Why?
Here's why. In 2017, the first round, I vehemently opposed Joe Boakai.
Good.
In a runoff, just within a matter of weeks, I made a decision, which was a compromise decision, and I supported Joe Boakai in the runoff. Even though President Weah reached out to me, I chose Joe Boakai over President Weah. The Unity Party people in the first round who hated my guts only a few weeks earlier, the moment I switched over to their side and began to support them, I was their darling boy.
Pre-syncing you.
So when they say those things, I'm gonna listen to them because I've experienced that before. They hated me 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, they loved me. So I don't listen to that. And besides, Prince Johnson was calling Joe Boakai a sick old man, a man who lives on a pacemaker, which by the way, President Weah paid to have installed in him in 2018 when he collapsed, a pacemaker, which is in his heart, which keeps him going. That was paid for by President Weah, just so we say. And Prince Johnson made mockery of him about the pacemaker. Jeremiah Cohen was on OKFM just last year saying that the old man is old and his brain is going downhill, which is true, by the way. At 80 years old, you shouldn't be running a country today. You should be looking after your grandkids.
When you say which is true, by the way, you've had several interactions with former Vice President Joe Boakai.
Interactions? I mean, you make it look like I just knew him. I actually was extremely close to him.
So when you say which is true, then I want you to say, talk about what why do you think that is so true? That, he's not physically fit?
No, he isn't. Joe Boakai fell off in January. A few days after he had hosted my team and
January of
myself.
this year?
Of course, you remember he was at EOW hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up that morning and my phone was inundated with messages from tons of people, family members and people who were calling to let me know that he had fallen out. And I was shocked. But I was also not very shocked. I mean, he's an old man. His health is not in best shape. But I was hoping it was not as bad. But then I went to the hospital and I saw him. He was laying there. I mean, we all get sick, even the young, of course, right?
Correct.
I mean, sickness, nobody's immune from it. But the kind of sickness, the kind of condition that he has, and I don't mean to be indecent about this. I'm just saying, when you're running for president of a country, Titi,
Yep.
it is the people's right to know of your health status.
Absolutely.
It is their right. If Joe Boakai was on his farm, taking care of looking after his grandkids, no one would be concerned with his health. But you're running to be president of my country. So it is our business. And the first thing, when I got to the hospital, I saw the old man scrap lying there. He couldn't breathe well by himself. He was hooked up to an oxygen machine, trying to stabilize his breathing. And they hid his real problem from me. They didn't tell me.
Oh,
Yeah, they didn't tell me. Until then, I had to arrange for him to be flown to the States. I was like, okay, if they say he's okay, why do I have to cut my trip short
To come and see him.
to fly him to the United States? They still didn't tell me until I took him to America. And that trip cost about $30,000, which we had to go. I had to go around begging for that money.
Wow.
A team of 4. We went to the States. We took him to his first doctor. And the doctor said the condition is bad. Then we took him to the second doctor, general internal medicine doctor. His condition is bad. That was when they finally told me, yeah, Henry, what the condition is, he needs surgery. I'm like, what? Then I started getting scared, Titi, to be very honest. That's when I began to start doubting whether I was doing the right thing by continuing to support Joe Boakai. Because I was like, is this a man I'm trying to help become president of the country who is in this condition? When Joe Boakai went to the States, to even climb up the stairs, we will have to assign someone physically. Those stairs, the staircase is pretty steep.
Yep.
We have to assign somebody to walk with him, behind him,
Pushing him forward.
just so, so he wouldn't fall.
in case. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want people, old man, to fall and then they say, oh, he was in cause care.
Exactly.
You understand? You understand? When he coming downstairs, somebody has to be with him. And my car is pretty high up. One little demoiselle I got, when you sit in there, it will get elevated. And it's a struggle for him to get into the car. And I'm noticing these things today, and I'm asking myself, but then I'm in too
Already
deep.
in it.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't come back and I say, they will start accusing me of the same thing they're accusing me of now. But I begin to become doubtful. I started questioning myself. Is he fit up to the task? This country is a hell of a country to run, Titi. Even for a young man like George Weah.
See, already go over.
What more than an 80-year-old man, Titi?
Yeah.
And so, but that was not why I left. I was still there. I'm gonna be honest. I thought, but then we said, look, we have to fix the problem. We had a consultation with the doctors. We scheduled for him to fly back to the States on March 23rd. I have the plane tickets here for him and his nephew, Jacob Kabakoli. Made the arrangement, cost over $10,000 just to do that, for him to fly over to the States for the surgery. He was supposed to leave on the 23rd of March to go to Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic. And then I get a call from his nephew, Jacob Kabakoli, who was supposed to accompany him. He tells me the trip is off. I'm
Just
what?
like that.
Just like that. Why is the old man not going?
Well,
This is in March, by the middle of March. And he didn't tell me the reason, but of course, I started hearing whispers that they were saying Costa wants to take the old man for surgery so the old man can be killed in the surgery.
Whoa.
But I was like, Joe Boakai is not going to believe that nonsense. I was sure that Joe Boakai would not believe it, right? Until on the 30th of March, Joe Boakai sent me the longest WhatsApp message I had ever received from Joseph Boakai. I have the message there in my phone, March 30th. And Joe Buckeye tells me, oh, my health result, including my planned return, and I'm quoting him verbatim, including my planned return for open heart surgery, was being discussed everywhere. And to die in the process for the election to be over was being discussed everywhere. Titi, somebody cooking for you.
Yep.
You're supposed to go to the president for 5 o'clock to eat. Then you send the president a message. Oh, they say when I go to your house, the food I'm supposed to eat there, the food will kill me. What does that mean?
Means that the person wants to kill
The
you.
president wants to kill you.
Yep.
I'm the one who arranged everything for you to go based on your doctor's instructions.
Yep.
I was like, this is dangerous. Then he makes a decision that we had told him from the ALP. Mr. Yuri told him, our party was clear. If you pick Jeremiah Cohn, we're not going to support you. We supported somebody else. This was not about me being running it.
As they assume.
It's not about. That's what you're trying to say. Oh, he didn't pick Costa. I was never in the picture, Titi.
Who was in the picture?
There were lots of people. People expected it to be Yombly.
Yep.
Some people thought he was going to consider Alice Cummings, but he never wanted Cummings because he hates Congo people. I don't know what they did to him, but he hates them.
Bromsky said that before.
He Madam Sali wanted him to carry Bromsky. We heard.
Yep.
He said he can't make a Congo man vice president.
Yep.
Then she nominated Finde. Said can't make another Congo man. I think even Cummings was recommended as well. He said no. So this is a man who wants to be president of the country. He hates some people in the country, and so we decided that we can't work with this man. Then he went to Kingsburg to us after keeping us in the dark for weeks. Made all his decisions. Decided to carry Cohn. April 26, 2 days before his naming ceremony, he goes to Kingsburg. He asks to meet all of us together. Wednesday, I will never forget that day. So Joseph Parker walks in. He never looks at me. An entire meeting which lasts over 15 minutes. He never raised his head to look me in the eye. And he says, well, I've come to tell you all that we've made a decision in the interest of the country and we have to win. He kept saying win. We have to win. Winning was the thing. And so we're going to go with Senator Jeremiah Cohn. We had decided I will not speak in the meeting at all. So Mr. Yuri spoke for us as the leader of our party. Okay. And Mr. Yuri said, well, Mr. Vice President, we've heard you. But I want to ask you one question. Do you trust these people, Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Cohn and all these people you want to work with now? He said, well, Ben and I in the forest, there are many animals. And some of the animals are bad, some of the animals are good. But once you're in the forest, you got to dance with all the animals. Then Mr. Yuri came back. What follow-up question. He said, are you comfortable with these people? He said, Bernard, we have to win. And I'm willing and prepared to dance with the devil to win. I saw Joseph Boakai and I looked at him and I was like, what? This is not the Joe Boakai I thought I knew. Dance with the devil? This man who pretends to be such a religious man, believes in God, talking about dancing with the devil. You could tell the decision he knew he made was a bad decision, but whatever influenced it, nobody knows. Oh, then we heard they gave him $200,000. And then Floyd told my promise that he would bring the big businessman from Nimba, that he would bring $3 million, which never came, which is why you see their campaign looking like that.
Wow. Okay, so as you said there, I look straight in your eyes. You're truly driven by your support for President Weah.
I'm convinced I'm doing the right thing.
From the bottom of your heart. But how prepared are you to openly get out there and campaign for him?
All the way. Tomorrow I'm going to be accompanying my brother Kalasco to Kakata, Makibi, where a ceremony will be held. The president will be, a large community there will be endorsing the president. We're making rounds on the radio stations, which the power of the media, Titi. You've been in this business for a long time. You can reach far more people on air or on social media than you could possibly reach, say, walking in the community. So while we will do the face-to-face, the interactions, physical interactions with our people, we will also take advantage of the mass media and reach as many people as possible. And that's what we're doing. We're really convinced that we're doing the right thing because, first of all, Joseph Boakai doesn't want to be president. He wants to take the presidency and give it to Prince Johnson. That's what he wants to do.
Why would he want to
Wow.
do that?
Because he refused to take care of his health. He just wants to win, and then he says he will go for the surgery after inauguration. Fellow Liberians, if you listen to me, Joseph Boakai intends to go for the surgery after inauguration. After you've made him president, he's going to take the presidency and give it to somebody else and go to America to do a surgery, and then you're all going to have to pray that he makes it and comes back.
Wow.
So you're not voting for Joseph Boakai for president. You're voting for somebody else. That's what you're voting for. I know, so because I pay the bills and I took him to the hospital.
So he didn't go for the checkup. He
No, he refused to go for the surgery. He said no. That's when they said I want to kill him. That's why that was a reason, supposedly the reason for him not going.
So he hasn't made any other trip since then.
He hasn't done the surgery. If he had, he would have then put out a commission for 6 to 9 months or up to a year to make a recovery. That's why he refused to do it. So he put his ambition for power over his life. That's what he did. It's dangerous. A man who does that does not deserve to be president or does not deserve to be a leader. Reckless endangerment of your own life just to become president at 80 years old. Yeah. So let's keep George Weah. George Weah has not been a saint. There are many things that I disagree with him on. But George Weah, when I've spoken with him, the president, he strikes me as someone, legacy. And as someone who comes from a competitive professional career, football, legacy is a big deal. And he did tell me, I believe there are many things we didn't do the right way, and we want an opportunity to correct them. If a man can acknowledge that he's not giving himself 100% school, that I believe that there are things we needed to do better that we didn't do. I was surprised, to be very honest with you, when he said that to me. And so now I want an opportunity to do better and to continue to work on those things that I embarked upon. He's a very ambitious man. He wants to leave a big legacy, like what he did in the football world. You know?
Now I hear you talking all of this. For me, reconciliation is key. We don't want to go into the deep side of what happened during the June 7 protests. But have you sat with President Weah to smoke peace pipe
After all of these things.
after, in the spirit of reconciliation?
I will tell you this, Titi. It will surprise you. Last year, March, the president called me. I was surprised. On the 22nd. I remember the days because it was very surprising. He and I hadn't spoken in years. He called me. I was driving from Philadelphia. It was on the I-95. And somebody didn't pick up the phone to say, oh, hold on for President Weah. I had his phone number. The phone rang. I saw his name and I said, what? And we spoke. He said, hey, my man, what's up? He said, like, he and I had just been talking. And I was like, I'm good. Glad to hear from you. And he was like, my man, look, you need to come home. I just want you to know that you're free to come home. There's no issue and whatever. I said, well, Mr. President, with all due respect, I'm glad that you're saying this, but you have to tell your Ministry of Justice people to formally issue a statement that the investigation into the passport thing, the lesser passport thing was being dropped. He said, no problem. I will give the instruction.
Just like that.
Just like that. I was like, wow. He said, look, you need to come home. You're free, man. In fact, Independence Day, I said, well, I will come home. He said, but come attend Independence Day program. I said, well, my plan is to come in December. And he said, fine, whenever you come, you're free. So then I came in December. He wanted us to meet.
Were you surprised by that phone call?
I was surprised by the phone call, Titi. Pleasantly surprised. And I announced it. I told the whole world, And then I came. I was not harassed. Nobody bothered me. I was still criticizing him. Even after that phone call, I was still critical of the president. But Titi, guess what?
What?
He never stopped calling me. We never stopped talking.
Wow.
All through. And I used to say on my show, well, I spoke with President Weah yesterday. October 11, in September, October, we had a rice problem, right? You remember the rice shortage? And I kept talking about it. So finally, some rice came. And then he sent me a message. Is a rice eater Costa? I started laughing. He said, "Mama, we have some rice in the country, and you need to inform your audience that there's rice in the country. They shouldn't panic." And I was like, I'm not your information minister to announce it. He said, "No, you owed your audience that much." I said, "All right." Then one time there was an incident, that unfortunate thing with GSA Director General with the Fula people. She made some unfortunate comments. And I forwarded a video to the president. He was in Dubai at the time. I said, "Mr. President, the Fula people are offended. I'm offended by the comments Madam Pro made." She's a hardworking woman, but those comments were unfortunate. Please do something about it. Moments later, he wrote me back, "My brother, problem solved." How was it solved? Madam Bro issued an apology.
Yeah, correct.
I said, okay, I just told the president to do something, and the president did it. Okay. Then there was an incident where there was a protest held by the CPP.
Retired suffering.
And there was an incident with a gentleman who had a firearm there. Yeah. He took a screenshot and sent it to me. He said, "Look, people have the right to protest, but it's not right for someone to carry a firearm in a crowd. Please talk to your people." I said, "Well, why are you telling me? I'm not even a member of CPP." He said, "You have an audience. People listen to you."
He believes in your audience.
He said, "Do something about it." I said, "Okay." I made a post and I sent him a screenshot. He said, "Thank you, my brother. Enjoy your day." So you see, these are things that we were talking.
Correct.
We were talking. So I was blasting his man. I was pushing Joseph Boakai, selling Joseph Boakai. Whenever President Weah felt the need to bring something to my attention, he reached out. I was like, this is not the George Weah guy. Something happening. One night he goes to the States. In December, I'm in a movie theater watching this new movie, right? I see my phone ringing. The president calling. In the movie theater, you can't answer your phone. He called the first time. I didn't answer. He said, "My man, you busy or you scared to answer?" I said, "Oh, I'm in a movie theater." I walked outside and I called him. He said, "Oh, I think you're scared to answer." I said, "Who am I to not answer the president of like you're calling him?" And then we talked for a while. I went back inside and sent me a message. "Thanks for calling me back." Wow. Now, one day, then he asked me a favor to come join him or to support him. Titi, I swear upon anything. And I used to announce it. "Oh, the president called me yesterday." Or "President called me, we talked." So we had this. This was going on for a period of time. Christmas, he sent me a message. "Oh boy, Henry Costa, and Merry Christmas to you." I said, "Thank you, my brother." So we had this, but I was not supporting him. Yep. So reconciliation between me and the president had happened long since last year, because we were talking, and the public can bear me witness because I used to say these things when the president and myself were talking. So President Weah has shown me a level of tolerance, not just to me as a person, but for me to witness that we used to wonder whether, but people used to criticize him for.
Yeah, a lot of people say the president, holds, he doesn't reconcile.
He doesn't reconcile. Yeah,
and here you are.
That's not what I see, Titi. Because I've been talking to this man since last year. We talk all the time.
Even though you criticize him.
Yeah, we chat all the time. Let me give you one example. So I was in Accra. He called me. He had gone to Guinea-Bissau for the ECOWAS thing. Yeah. And he called me. The network was bad, so we're talking. I said, "My man, his son Timothy Weah was in the country, and people were mad that team didn't play that game. 8 years. So I said, "My man, what are you both mad at him for?" He said, "Oh man, the boy, he wants to play, but he just signed his contract,
so you don't want to risk it."
And the insurance told him, "You haven't played a single game yet for your team. If you go play somewhere else, something happens to you, the insurance does not cover it." I said, "Oh, I see." So and we talked, and he said, "Well, man, we'll catch up later." So we used to talk, but I was still actively supporting Joe Boakai. Yes. So that to me is tolerance of the first degree.
Okay. So you and ALP political leader, Benin Ayuri and others were seen openly, endorsing President Weah. But your party chairperson, Theodore Momo, was seen going the other side. Does that spell some kind of rift in your party's support for His Excellency?
No, not at all. Titi, there's something called the majority. 38 of our officials, including county chair. You saw our program, Papa?
It was huge.
You saw their own?
It was really huge.
They won the day with UP. I think there were five.
No, five.
5 people. We had a few thousand people there. A few thousand people. Okay, so that is the numbers, right? So we had the majority of the executive committee. And what we did, we decided to not do what they did. They decided to go and just say they endorse, to commit the executive committee. We didn't do that. We drew up a resolution and we went about soliciting signatures.
Okay.
That's what we did, Titi. I insisted on that. And it was not hard to convince my people that everybody agreed that was the way to go. We got the signatures before we held the program. That's what we did. Then we authorized our political leader, who is the one who officially speaks for us. He has the authority to do that. He spoke for us. He is the one person clothed with the authority to make such a pronouncement. He's the political leader. How can party chairman commit party? Party chairman does not commit a political party. It's the political leader that commits the party. So yes, so we went to President Weah with the party. And that's why every one of us went. The majority of us. Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel, I know you will come in if you have a question. You were one of the prime drivers of opposition unity and the CPP, but that didn't hold strongly, and you cited some shortcomings. When you look back today at Joseph Boakai, Alex Cummings, and Benin Ayure in the same room at the time, what was your suspicion then and now?
Well, I have some regrets, Titi, and I publicly stated these regrets. I have also gone ahead and offered apologies to some of our friends who were then political allies of ours or collaborators for some of the things I personally did in my enthusiastic and fierce support and defense of Joe Boakai's presidential aspirations. I declare war on some of those people to try to protect Joe Boakai. I played a cardinal role in the demise of the CPP because I built public. I built opposition toward us remaining in it because I suspected that Joe Boakai could not compete with Alex Cummings at a CPP primary. We felt that there were things in the CPP, and then of course we discovered the CPP framework document, and then there were issues that were raised, and I took to defending, and Joe Boakai was in full support of that.
Wow.
Yeah, he wanted us to leave, but he said, I can't be the one to say it, or you will blow bad on me. We did it for him, and I regret some of the things we did. We had legitimate issues with Mr. Cummings, yes, we did, but some of the things I personally did were things I'm not so proud of, especially doing it for a man like Joe Boakai. I regret.
Do you have you met Mr. Cummings?
I haven't, but publicly I have apologized for the role I played. But about 2 years ago, I decided I was not going to bother the ANC. Even after we left the CPP, I stopped criticizing Mr. Cummings. In fact, I urged supporters of Boakai to do the same.
They didn't stop though.
No, they didn't stop.
No, the CPP had 7% of the votes the last elections, but these elections, they were to 1%.
Yeah.
Do you think that contributed to that also?
Perhaps it did. But also, I think that these elections were different. TG. The Liberian people decided basically they were going to give their votes to two people, Boakai and Weah. Those who want Weah to continue the work that he's done, they decided to rally around him. Those who want Joe Boakai those who want Weah out decided to rally around Joe Boakai. And a large part of it was because of the work that people like us did. For many years, we told the people the only man that could beat George Weah was Joe Boakai. Well, it appears Joe Boakai cannot beat George Weah because just look at the election results. But I think we did a great job. To be honest, for a lazy old man who basically sat at rehab, for the most part, sleeping and having useless meetings, non-productive meetings for, let me use a better diction, because Liberian people take offense at word useless, right? But non-productive meetings, these boring meetings where he just talks parables, that's all he does. To have accumulated as many votes as he did was only because of the work we did, Titi.
Right.
Because he wasn't traveling anywhere. The hardest working opposition leader was Alice Cummings.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, the elections did not favor him. But Alice Cummings worked hard, spent a lot of money. He articulated his message. Joseph Boakai barely spoke to the country. How often did he say anything? We said everything. Rescue mission. Who coined it? I did. Rescue. Oh, we rescue. You think I did that thinking Boakai was a messiah? No. It's politics.
How connected is Joseph Boakai?
He has no connections. If he had any real connections, we would not have had to shoulder his financial sustenance.
Totally agree.
I mean, come on, Titi. The 2 times he flew to America in the last, I arranged it. The whole country knows that one.
Yep. That's a secret.
I raised all the money for that. When the headquarters, when they were being evicted, I mean, they're one of their spokespeople now.
Yeah.
He acknowledged it.
Yeah.
I raised $60,000. He contributed to it. Of course, the guy who said what he said, I'm not going to call his name on this platform, but the fact that Henry Costa had to raise $60,000 to pay the rent for former Vice President Joe Boakai, who was vice president 12 years. What does that tell you?
$20 million.
Is that a man who got contracts? I beg you, yeah.
So what kind of Liberia do you envisage under President Weah after his re-election?
President Weah has told me he's concerned about his legacy. I want to make this clear. I have no interest in a government job. I've told the president, zero. I want him to succeed for the sake of the country. I want him, and the president realizes that the country is very divided. I want him to understand that he has to govern and form his government, his cabinet, in a way that reflects that divide. He has to govern in a way that reflects that divide, how deeply divided the country is. And I want the president to continue to build roads. Roads are very important. I was out of the country for 2 years today. I came back in December. And I live in rehab. And as I say, all these roads, all these avenues all over the place, although we used to be critical or those things, it's trying to downplay them, minimize all roads, our roads we eat. Trust me, the roads are good. I mean, we do like roads, you know? I mean, I think he should do more. But I think he needs to also focus on the economy because times are hard. And the president does admit that. And we need to bring more investors to the country. Some of us want to help to do that. We know a lot of people, Titi. The places we used to go beg for money to help Joe Boakai, we have those people we can bring to help. No, on a serious level. And that's what I want to be able to do, how to help the president. Bring in people to do a lot of things in this country. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of message, I know you talked about going with Carrasco tomorrow, but what kind of message will you be propagating to convince the people that this president deserves to be reelected and continue what he has started?
Good. It's very simple. We know President Weah. We know his strengths. We know his weaknesses. And he knows his strengths and he knows his weaknesses as an administration and as a leader. And the Liberian people believe in giving people a second chance. This is a second chance society. The reason you see people chanting for Stanton Witherspoon after his thing today, his sentencing today, and saying, oh yeah, even though they will criticize other people if they were in that the shoes that Stanton finds himself in, it's because we believe in second chances. The president started his work. He had a lot of challenges, and he will have many more challenges. But it is only fair that we give him a second chance to continue to do the work that he's doing and to do better at the work that he's doing. We did it for Ellen and Boakai.
Yep. Give him birth.
They came back to us in 2011. I was with CDC,
I remember.
political aid to Winston Tubman. That's when President Weah got to know me. We became friends back then. And after the elections, Titi, it was a bitter election. They killed our partisans at the time.
November 7.
November 7, 2011. We call it Bloody Monday.
Bloody Monday.
Titi, I was there. We walked, we ran. Now, we ran for miles. Me and Mama Malu and others. We had to take our CC t-shirt, the poor shirt from the house to wear. And Joseph Boakai didn't say a word.
Nothing.
He was in the government. Today he rescued her. When Rob Salif went bankrupt in NoCal, $75 million disappeared in thin air. Joseph Boakai didn't say a word. When 66 bad concessions were signed in this country, Joseph Boakai was vice president. He presided over some of those concessions.
Yep.
Didn't say a word. When Harry Greaves, Michael Allison, people were murdered, Joseph Boakai didn't say a word. George Manuel Weah is not a saint, but he has shown time and again that he can withstand the odds and he will fight. And I've seen in him a leader who's willing to listen, a leader who can reconcile. If he can reconcile with Henry Costa, I'll tell you, it's not just now I've been talking to this man. I've been talking to this man since last year. I think he can reconcile with anybody. A few days ago, some former CDC stalwarts reached out to me and said, my man, we know the president and you are talking now. Could you facilitate a meeting so we want to come back to our party? Somebody voted for Boakai.
See?
They voted for Boakai. I said, sure. I called the president. Mr. President, some of the people reached out to me. They want to come see you. He said, sure. When you want to come today? I said, no, Mr. President, this is a short notice. Can we do it tomorrow? It's okay. We'll talk to my people. They'll put on the schedule. I told him there, Mr. President, these are your people. He knew a lot of these people. They were stalwarts of the CDC. They started from the beginning, but some people became disaffected and they left. One thing he said, when they all explained, he said, well, I'm happy you people are back, but I'm also happy that you didn't leave because of me directly. You left because of other people. So I'm glad you're back. And they're supposed to be having a program in a few days at the party headquarters to reaffirm their commitment and rejoin their party.
So throughout this electoral, period, you were somehow quiet.
Yeah.
What do you were quiet, right? But I want to know from you today, what do you make of the purported sentencing today of Stanton?
Yes, I was quiet, Titi, because I decided I would not take a side. It was a difficult thing, Titi. It's like a striker. I'm sure President Weah can relate to this. The best striker on the team, right? And then he suddenly decides to not play, or the coach decides to not play him. And while you see the game playing, you see people playing, you think, oh yeah, the guy should have passed the ball to this guy, should have done this, but you can't. And it was difficult. But when the second round came, we felt that we could no longer stay quiet. And my party made a decision too, so I had to go with that. And I felt like at this point, with this level of entitlement, this arrogance from Unity Party, that they have a birthright to have the presidency. I mean, we all have the birthright to run for office, but
not the president.
They feel entitled.
Yep.
That dangerous sense of entitlement, and that they are Liberia. When you support George Weah, you're not from Liberia. All the people, the 800,000 plus votes President Weah got, he got it from Guineans. Well, not from here. They brought them from across the border. They voted. Yeah, and Joe Boakai got Liberian votes. So I was sickened by that. And I remember when I supported them and propagated, and I was their voice. I never preached that, Titi. I never preached that. I criticized the president. I felt Joe Boakai should replace him, but I never said Joe Boakai must be the president or else you don't love the country. So that's dangerous, Titi. That's chauvinism. Those people are dangerous if they came to power.
Correct.
And then they're vengeful. They have all this hatred in them. I mean, a few days ago, my ex-wife reached out to me, panicking. They had called her phone multiple times, threatening my son's life, my 7-year-old son. Yes.
Wow.
Why?
We had to call the police. Well, they say if I don't stop talking about the Joe Boakai, and they're going to harm my son.
Wow.
I'm not even surprised.
I posted a video today of one of them. This is a guy I know personally. I've even been like a brother to him, identify with him. No. And this guy is saying that he will use juju on my son. And I said, well, you juju to change your own life.
Wow.
So they're dangerous people. That's why we decided we could no longer sit back and allow these dangerous people to come to power. We know President Weah. When I criticized him all those years, not once did anybody threaten my son's life or call to threaten my son's life. But then
Wow.
Now they're doing that.
So
On the Stanton issue,
no, before you go to Stanton, let me ask you this question. What do you make of Prince Johnson's alignment with Ambassador Joseph Boakai and the impact of that, on the eventual push for justice and the establishment of a war crimes court for Liberia?
well, I support the war crimes code 100%. Is one of the things I would strongly encourage the president to do in his second term, because I know the president will win the election. People like Prince Johnson need to be put away. People who the society has decided to some extent to tolerate and live with them after all the horrendous things they did, and still behave as though the society owes them something and can still influence our politics and show no remorse, they need to be put away. And so the war crimes code must happen. Also, Prince Johnson is only supporting Joe Boakai because he wants to control the presidency. That's all. He doesn't like Joe Boakai. He doesn't believe in Joe Boakai. He's only there.
Why do you think he doesn't believe in Boakai?
Well, we all heard the terrible things he said about Joe Boakai. Prince Johnson's condition to
He
support.
said his mouth is not Bible.
Yes, but his support was conditioned on one thing only. Pick Jeremiah Cole, who is my puppet.
Yeah.
You pick my puppet, I support you. That's it. That's the deal. And Joe Boakai said, yes, I would dance with the devil. He knows Prince Johnson is a devil. He said it himself. He said, I would dance with the devil. So he's dancing with them. But do I want to entrust my country to an 18-year-old man with poor health who has dangerous people who influence and control him? I don't want to do that.
In as much as you don't want to do that, you yourself said that the work you did with for and with Ambassador Boakai helped him to get the numbers he got. So do you think you have to do something extra to undo that as we go to these run-ups?
Of course. Look, Titi, people saw Joe Boakai based on largely how we sold him.
Yep. Totally agree.
I saw an image of Joe Boakai that I will find out later. It's not really who he is. He's been wearing a mask.
Do you think they're going to believe you?
Well, not all of them. I'm not delusional to think that this late in the game, I'm going to change all their minds. No, that's been delusional. But here's what I know. A lot of minds have been changed.
How do you know that?
People have been reaching out to me.
Okay.
People have been reaching out to me. I mean, I can't even, people have been reaching out to me left and right. People have been telling me that people have been saying that, look, this woman is not good. We can't trust him. This is a runoff vote, Titi. Every vote counts, which is why you need only 50% plus one vote to win. Every vote that we can take from Joe Boakai, we're taking it away. And we intend to take thousands of votes away. But my strategy is very simple. We're not only taking votes from people who voted for him in the first round. I know people who voted for him in the first round who are not voting for him now. Take those former CDC stalwarts that the president yesterday, and they got their other people.
Yes.
And they said once we posted the pictures on Facebook, a lot of other CDC people who voted for
Came out.
they said we're coming back too.
Yep.
They're going for the program. And those are votes that Boakai had received in the first round. Then, Titi, the people who voted for the other candidates who are now Boakai supporters, those are the main people we are targeting. The message resonates better with those people, more effectively with them, because they naturally didn't want Joe Boakai. So now they're thinking, Costa knew this man very well. Everybody knows that. Nobody can dispute that. Everybody knew that. And Costa is saying these things, and we're showing evidence of how Joe Boakai is not well, of how Joe Boakai is desperate, that he will overlook his own health just for power.
Do you think it's Joe Boakai or the people around him?
That's even more dangerous. Joe Boakai does not control himself right now. That's even more dangerous. It is the people around him. He does not make decisions for himself. The people around him control him. That's why Jeremiah Kun said, when you 80, IAA, the brain going down.
Yep.
Kun said it.
Yep.
Kun is right.
Yep.
Boakai, you want to, I mean, look, Titi, let's be honest. Yes, I know I supported him. Yes, I knew he was going to be 80 in 2023. Yes, Titi. But let's be honest. Come to think of it. And what made me really start getting scared was when he fell off in January and I took him to the hospital. And the fact that Joe Boakai was willing to risk his life to run a campaign to be president means that Joe Boakai is not able to make good decisions. He's incapable of making good decisions for himself, and therefore he cannot make good decisions for the country. So we are focused on people who can sway and people who didn't vote for him in the first round. That's all. To bring those people over to President George Weah. And we're doing that. We're winning souls left and right.
I like that. We're winning souls left and right. So let's talk. What do you make of the purported sentencing today of Stanton?
Well, Stanton is a good friend. And he says this himself. Stanton was one of the few people, one of the 10 donors I cultivated to be financially taking care of Joe Walker. And he said it himself.
Yeah.
He said it himself today. I was able to get, when I was raising the money to pay their rent, that's how lazy Joe Walker is, that I had to go look for money to pay their rent. And Stanton himself said it. That was a bad thing. And I realized, I said, "Oh, you know what you just did? I said I paid the rent. I said I raised the money to pay the rent, right? And you just validated it. And you say you're selling the man. You ain't no propaganda.
Yeah, you're not selling him.
You're not selling the man. You just confirmed that Joe Walker could not afford to raise his own rent.
Exactly. And you reached out and erased it money.
Yeah.
Correct.
So when I was raising the money to pay the rent, I went to Stanton. And he did contribute handsomely. He was the biggest donor. And so Stanton and we did so much for Joe Walker. He never liked Joe Walker. We all know Stanton was very critical of Joe Walker.
Of course.
All along. And as he was giving me the rent money, his share of the rent money, he was causing Joe Walker. Man, I'm lazy, papi. What you doing, man? Old man. I said, my man, just do it back. Yeah, my man, do it for me. So because we had that friendship. I believe that friendship is gone, but we had that friendship. And I try to not be Joe Walker. I can't be saying he's ungrateful, he's bad. Then I be the same as him. But Stanton, I never knew Stanton was involved in what Stanton would be found to be involved in. And I was shocked. And when the thing broke, I could barely talk about it.
You knew him before it happened, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Stanton, I went to Stanton since 2020 to start supporting Joseph Walker. He was one of the people, every month we had Joe Walker on allowance. $3,000 a month. That was a fixed allowance, excluding every other expense. I got all the receipts, all the money. Yeah, $3,000. I got all the receipts right here today.
Since 2020.
Joe Walker never denied it. Particularly the transformer is $2,500 US. I put it there. In terms of other things, tons of other things we did for Joe Walker. All the trips we paid for them. The last trip cost $30,000. I raised $25,000 of that. $5,000 was my own money, and $20,000 from other people, and then the other guy paid for the place where he was staying. The first trip, 2021, cost $40,000, and a lot. I got on my debit card the hospital bill, the other bill, all of that. But that's not the issue. The issue here is, let's go back to Stanton issue. It's unfortunate what Stanton was involved in.
Yep.
As much as he was my friend, or still my friend, at least I like to consider him as that still. But what he did was wrong. Was wrong. In fact, it was evil. To give fake documents to people, not to go shine shoe. Shining shoe, nobody can die for shining shoe. But to say go treat people in hospital.
Yeah.
Or take care of old people in old folks home. And you get fake people and they don't know what they're doing today. It could lead to people dying, people getting sick. So that bad thing. That was a bad thing there. And that was Stanton was doing. And so I feel sorry for him. For his, but then again, they say what, 41 months?
Yeah.
That's 3 years.
3 years now.
I mean, come on. I mean, the man made millions, see? So
Let me go rest more.
let the man go to jail, and people should pay for every Christian. And God say you go die on Judgment Day. So let the man go pay, do a time.
So what does that mean? He's going to jail, and he's not going to have any access to a free life anymore. So he's not going to.
January 31st, he will report for the actual to go to prison. Yeah, he will report to go to prison. And they just said the sentencing will be no more than 41 months. Because they say he's been doing, his lawyers managed to convince the judge that he's contributing to democracy in Liberia, blah, blah, blah. So they just said, well, because of that, they're very lenient. It's a white collar crime. I have my master's in criminal justice, leadership and administration. The U.S. system of justice is very lenient when it comes to white collar crime. You can see 1 billion. They will just slap you on the wrist and say, pay some of the money back. But violent crimes, or drug trafficking or something like that,
That's strong.
they're very, very rigid. So that's why Stanton got that very lenient sentence, because It's not a violent crime. He profited off of selling fake degrees, fake diplomas, but it's not a violent crime.
Okay.
So he's gonna go. He's gonna go to prison on January the 31st.
Wow. Anyway, inaugurations will be held before he goes to prison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he will be here and see the president get inaugurated.
Okay. So, Daniel, if you have any question, then let's go so that we can go to the lines.
I don't have basically any question because Costa just said everything. I just want to, just say that everything he said, he's the best person to say what he just said. I remember in 2011, he just put it very right. He's one person, if he gives you his support.
You said that the other day.
Correct. And he just attested to that. If he gives you his support, it's 100%.
That's it. I don't know how to do it.
Until that support dies, 0. I was there with you, Mason Costa, with Winston Tubman. It was 100%. So to come out today to express all of these things, and what is even saddening is the fact that the very people who yesterday praised Costa when he was a revival of Unity Party, when he made the party to live again, because it was dusted and done. They are the people, like you just heard him, that are going after his son. They are the people that are saying mean things on Facebook about him, to the extent that, so where is the gratitude? There are times political tolerance is that if somebody sees no reason to support you anymore, and the person decides to leave, look, give the person your blessings and let them go. Okay? If it is posterity is ahead of us. But to come back and criticize, I told somebody today, there's this guy who always posting a lot of funny stuff on Facebook about Stanton. I said, if Stanton changes his mind today to support President we are tomorrow, the insult that Costa received will be smaller. What you guys will do to Stanton will be worse. This is just their nature, their clear nature. You could imagine a former vice president saying to you that when he's elected president, the Muslim and the Christian children will play harmony, as if it's not already happening in our country. So they are very much disconnected with the people who are doing a lot of good for them. So everything Costa said, that's why on my page every day I tell them, I say, listen, what is actually aching you people is reconciliatory to many Liberians. They wanted this, and this is the moment for it. Can you imagine him telling you that even amidst all the things that were going on between him and the president was still reaching out to him, he was still responding to the president. That is maturity, okay, and that is true leadership on both sides. So let the people relax themselves, right? I mean, the time finished.
Costa, I want to ask you one question before I go to the lines. My people, I know you're already called in, but let me ask you this question. I'm looking at the likes of Jake Kabakoli. I know I watched your podcast the other day when you said that when you reached out to Stanton was not happy because he gave money to Joseph Boakai in 2017. But behold, Boakai did not get that money, but Jake Kabakoli got the 50,000 and he didn't give it to Joe Boakai. Looking at the likes of Rabo Kwade, Jake Kabakoli, Patrick Honda. What comes to your mind when you see, because these are the people who are behind Joe Boakai. Yes, and they have a proposed cabinet.
Titi, I will show you something. I will read something. Joe Boakai complains about Jake, but never takes action. On April 2nd, 2022, Joe Boakai sent me this message. Henry, Ben is pleading with me, but I intend to reject it. Jake's financial avarice is too intense for me. He is soliciting money any and everywhere without my knowledge. I intend to replace him from around me. It's too early for such acts. Your advice is necessary. Simply because Jay was not bringing the money to him. He was not mad because Jay was asking for money, but Jay was not just reaching him out. Then I responded to him. And you know how far Jay go? I said, Uncle, I strongly encourage you to replace him. Jake, if you're wondering, yes, I did tell him to replace you when he asked me. Many people are uncomfortable with him being close to you. And then he replied, thanks, my dependable nephew, but eventually he still kept Jake. because Joe Bwaga is incapable of making decisions. That's what he does. Jake is very dangerous. He's the one. He was the mastermind behind the Kun and Prince Johnson thing.
Yep.
He did that because Kun bought Jake. Kun brought Jake. Jake confessed it to me. I sent him $1,000 US. I have the send wave proof here of that. And Jake confessed. He had Ashford Peel. I sent 500 for Ashford Peel, 1,000 for Jake, and instead of blabbering, singing like a canary. Yeah, my man, the man, get all smart thing. You know, my man, the time. The VP, the Kun decision was influenced by small money to smoke cigar and drink Hennessy. Yeah. The hollow brother will banjo the country. The Jota brother will be sleeping. They'll be selling the country.
That's true.
Yeah. Ashra P was the one that brought Jake. Folks, if you're wondering who, Kun, if you're wondering who brought Kun around, was Ashra P. He explained one story to me back in the day. Kun passed somewhere and Kun said, my man, there's VP thing here. I got intro. Man said, but bring something. He came to the Jake. Then Jake arranged the meeting. Then the men started dropping there. The Bwaga set up a vetting committee. Kun bought the entire vetting committee.
It was just easy.
The entire vetting committee couldn't bought the vetting committee. Joe Bwaga said, I would never carry the man. They said, Baby, you gotta carry the man. Couldn't bought Brandon Samugai. He bought Kofi News. He bought Friends and Human, like vetting committee though. The vetting committee was never publicly announced, but I know them all. Those are the people that Kun bought. Kun bought every one of them. They pay Kun not on the basis of whatever, but they pay Kun based on the money. Yeah. They bought them.
Okay. 0800514-096. Call us and then you'll be live on Open Conversation on ELBC Radio. Our guest is Henry Costa. Hello. Hello.
Let's take the next one.
Good. This one is an international caller, so I don't want to take him off. Hello.
Hello, caller.
How are you?
Good.
TD, how are you doing? I'm Reverend Solomon Moore. I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Let's hear you, sir.
I want to commend that dear brother, Second Petrol Costa, for that bold decision he's taken and lead to inspire our people for a second chance of the president. And my whole concern has been drawn to the way the media is trying to give a free passage to the former ruling party, Unity Party, into this election process. Realize that all of the things that happen in the country, including those certain remarks made by Bwaga, how the country will end if he cheated the elections, and the killing of destroyers of local counties, and all of some other things that are happening. But the media seem not to really examine the former ruling party, and they are giving them a free ride, and the former ruling party is exploiting opposition sentiment to get back into power, but the media is just quiet.
Okay.
How do you guys see it? And how dangerous it will be on our democracy if, God forbid, the former ruling party come back to power? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I remain the political officer of the National Response and Defense Team. And I spoke with Defender Peter McCauley, the civilized Sandoval, and I joined from district now most throughout the country. I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Pedro and also good evening to many listeners. But let me tell you see the politics in this country, some of our brothers on the other side, from the late Unity Party, they are down twofold to what they bring to the discourse. Look, it is not bad for people to endorse who they want to endorse. We were here when the late Unity Party, when they were cheering Henry Costa as a hero. When Henry Costa led a protestation in the country, he was meant out for them. But today, Henry Costa has seen a tangible on the one. Seeing B-52 of the Republic of Liberia, that's not developmental oriented, where the unprecedented drop of development across the country. That's why Central Costa endorsed President George Manneh Weah in the list of the political leader of ALP and other members. But today, the legislative party in that of the political leader, today they are castigating Central Costa. I don't know when Costa was there, he was a bad person, they know, however, but we want to say to them that Central Costa is a Liberian. We'll work with him, we'll make sure that President Weah in this country for 12 years, because for those things that the president is doing today, some of us, we have never seen that about development under President Weah. Today is the first of the count for Liberia as well as our armed forces to get American hospitals. Today we are seeing the road connectivity. Today we are seeing hospital units. So you want to go against the hospital unit?
Okay, thank you.
The people that are the MP, when they are the invisible part, the people are there sleeping in morning hospital. So
Thank you.
you
We
want
have
me
to
to go
take
against
other callers. Thank you. Thank you. You got 30 seconds. If you call, you got
Hello?
30 seconds, please. If you go more than 30 seconds, I will have to take another person, please. Hello.
Hello, this is Emmanuel Regis, and I joined the conversation for Upper Carwell. And let me say thanks to Brother Costa. Look, one of the things I was there from Unity Party, they said on entitlement. Our friends from the UPC that Liberia belongs to them. In fact, people want to the extent that if you don't support Joe Biden, which means you not like Liberia. I don't know where these people are coming from with the kind of fake mind that everybody should support Biden in Liberia. If you don't support Biden, then which means you not love Liberia. But we say thanks to Costa, and we wish him well, and we want to say thanks to UTT for bringing on the platform. We enjoy the interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for being a part of the program. Let's take this caller. Hello. Hello. Make your point. Go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, but even Manatiri Jivo and go even to the country of Liberia. My name is Ibrahim Political Moses Seto, and I call from the headquarters of the Independent National Plan, the Federal Bureau on the most program that they will have. Basically, I listened to Helen Pedro Costa, and he said, welcome to the CDC, to the wildlife changes. I want to say you have problem about the other people who believe in Nigeria as the rate and support the government. We expect to come out to recommit our support to President George Manneh Weah. So, as we welcome to the way to and lastly, the government that we support, they should not forget about those who stood that land from the beginning, from the center of the government, that the Veterans Bureau, the Insurance Defense, and the program of the state. We have followers. So we are saying we deserve better or getting our financial for the campaign vigorously. You guys should not focus on Helen Costa alone. Don't forget.
Hello.
My name is Kubo Passaway, and I call this TV from district number 11. Today, I live there, yes, right? Let me ask you a question. You think going on public platforms, discussing private conversation with other people, you think George, we are constantly, you think George, we are your own wisdom? Do I don't support him, right? You think George, we are be free to have private conversation with you after at your age? Going on public platforms.
No, then you better don't want to. You can't talk down on my guests. If you ask a question, you ask your question, but you can't talk down on people. Ask a question. Finish. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, something pop up.
Hello?
Go ahead. You're live, please. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello, you are live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
thank you very much, man. Let me say hello to Mr. Costa and hello to the Latino people. Here's my concern. Mr. Costa, you said you have been supporting Joseph Boakai, and because of some health issue, you have problem with him. But then the first round of the voting, you voted for him. In case he had won the election, what would be your position today? Thank you.
Costa voted for him?
Yeah, Costa said you voted for Joseph Boakai first round, according to him. One of the
Can you
Facebook page, the Twitter.
I voted for Joseph. Are you kidding me? You already God forbid. No, I very Joseph Boakai vote for him.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please. What's your name and where you joining us from?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Jason Abrusin, and I'm from Yorkville. Firstly, let me say thank you to you for being here and Central Costa on the radio tonight. And let's make it clear to the Latino people that will be going to question Costa, the issue. The day George we are going where to go and George we are going to go other people and not clean, Costa will be working a good way. But for now, people should not be questioning Costa. They were making it. So what would they talk to the president we are going Costa, then Costa does not have any, then Costa is the 90. So it's only one Costa has to be in opposition, then he's already there. Let it last go. Let it last go to this one day. Let it give Costa the respect that he deserves as the Latvian. The same right we have to support other people here in Costa also have that same right. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you for being a part. Let's hear this caller. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, Titi.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Momo Kova. I'm joining the conversation from Fiamma. Firstly, I want to say thanks to Henry Costa for a presentation.
All the things, Toya, you know what went wrong, eh?
Yeah. What went wrong? The first thing first, the man he picked, we say you will not well with that man. Then the man not well. The man you say you're not going to hospital, you won't be president. That one went wrong. You won't all vote for 18-year-old man was sick. You already old, then you won't be sick. That two things, the old is the problem already. Then the second on top of it again too. You young man, 75% of the people in the country here, they are under 40.
Exactly.
Then the man 2 times older than us, at 41, the man 80. Then the man sick on top of it, he say, you won't be president, you don't want to go to the hospital. Everything went wrong.
Okay, let's hear this caller. Let's hear you. Hello? Good evening.
Good evening to your as well as the listeners of your broadcast. My name is Roger Clotier, and executive member of the Veteran Bureau of Nigeria in the Toguda Avenue community. Well, let me say thank you very much to Mr. Costa for the lower support to the CDC. We support is the nationalistic and patriotic support. You know, he wants no churches. And Mr. Costa has seen the need to ensure that Liberia is placed on the right trajectory. It is the reason why he chooses to support the regime. I can recall 2005, we were with President Weah. And at that party class is when the other way from the strategy to our return.
Okay.
So thank you very much for returning back to the PDP. We believe that we can tap on your expertise to ensure that he has led the view with us. And Mr. Costa, the Veteran Bureau of Nigeria is looking you to exactly all of this platform. It is my hope that you accept our invitation
my brother. I look forward to the invitation.
Okay, let's speak to this caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Didi.
Good evening, Mr. Gu.
Yeah, good evening. This is Councillor. Yeah, this is Councillor Gu, Lafayette Gu. I just called to give my support to the discussion. I'm from the All Liberian Party. Former Representative Kennedy in District number 11. And my party has endorsed the presidential debate, the re-elections of President Weah. And I am in 100% support of that process. If there was anything beyond 100, I will add it to it. I support the decision of my friend and brother, N.M. Pedro Costa, to support the second term election bid of the president. And I want to ask all of those persons who supported me in elections in district number 11, who come from different political parties, to join us in the process to give President Weah a second term, because we believe that he has been reconciliatory. If President Weah can shake hands with Henry Costa today, if President Weah can take his phone and call Henry Costa, if President Weah can sit in the gallery with Lafayette Gu, I mean, many persons know how many times I've had some issues with the government in terms of speaking out the truth. And some people took it against me. Today, we can talk. We can talk Liberia. It means that side is reconciliatory. And that's the path that we should take. And we have had series of discussions on the table. And the president has promised us that there will be better things to come for the country, knowing that his glory and his legacy should live on. Okay. I think that we should all join the process, give the president a chance, a second chance. There have been mistakes. Nobody says people perfect around here. There have been mistakes. There have been shortcomings. Yeah. But we believe that with the experience that he had serving as president for 6 years, he will do better in terms of correcting those wrongs and pushing the country forward than somebody who is just coming to start from point one. So
okay, Council, thank you.
Party, I support my brother, support to the election, the re-election of President Weah, and we are in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gu. Hello?
Good evening, Sis Titi.
Good evening. I just knew you were the one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to come in. Anyway, this is the voice of Eric Satilo, behind the physician, and this evening I'm phoning you from District 3, Moserado County. And let me use this medium to wish you guys a blessed Thanksgiving Day, and most especially to the progenitor of political commentators in Liberia. Don Pedro, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, my dear brother. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving Day, sir.
Okay. Let me say this. In the history of the existence of this republic, President Weah remains the most tolerant president in the history of this country. And let me repeat, maybe our people are not getting me. In the history of the republic of this, in the existence of the republic, President Weah is the most tolerant president in the history of this country. President Weah is the only president that will allow Yoruba to insult him for 6 years without doing anything, without taking action. President Weah is the only president that will allow his convoy to be blocked in a traffic for more than 1 hour. President Weah is the only president that will come to red light because of the dive and walk through red light and like to see what is happening with the people. So if I see people, coming to the public with hypocrisy in the name of Costa is supporting this president, it's wrong. It's sad.
Your time finished. Thank you.
Everyone has the right under the Constitution to choose their leader. So what I'm saying, just to conclude,
Oh.
TD, please.
Can you go to your...
I beg you back. Piano has a sedition. Other people won't call too. Thank you very much, Sir Taylor. Hello, Mr. Robert Sami. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Let me say good evening to Costa. Costa is a brother. I like his spirit. He takes his side and supports his side. And let the people know that Costa is not inconsistent as people will want him, people want to make him appear. Costa has always been between Bouakai and President Weah. So Bouakai showing the ways he decides and his party also join him to support President Weah. It's right to choose a side that you want to support. It is the second round. He was supporting Bouakai and he supported Assad. He revived the Unity Party. But because they didn't listen to him, he had chosen a side, the side, the winning side that is the South President Weah. So people should not beat on him. He had his right as still of Liberian. So I support him. Let him continue to do more outreach and let the people know the wrong that the former vice president did. But I want to ask him one question. The question I want to ask is, President Weah was able to bring 9 parties together, and Bouakai was not able to manage 4 parties. So what does that speak to? How does that speak to Bouakai's leadership and President Weah's leadership? Thank you.
Bouakai is not a leader.
Let's Abu Bagaba. Let's hear you. Because I beg you, please just take the Hello.
Yes, hello, Tite Jibo and to my dear brother Henry Costa. This is Assistant Minister Abu Bakaba. Good hearing you, Mr. Costa. No doubt, Mr. Costa is one of the finest sons of Liberia. You do not have to like him for that. And he's extremely gifted with a gift of oration. When he speaks, people listen to him. And today, UP people are angry because the brother has decided to support the best side, has decided to support the winning side, has decided to put countries first. As you always say on his Facebook page, that when you don't support Joseph Bouakai, you are being perceived as not nationalistic, you are not a good person, you are one of those bad apples in the country. This is extremely wrong. Nobody holds a sense of entitlement to leadership in this country. All Mr. Joseph Bouakai has been doing for the past 6 years is to pretend that he does not have nothing, and the Liberian people should vote for him on the basis of being poor. This is why he went as far as saying that he's living on loans. This is very wrong, and we have to understand that this country belongs to everybody. So Mr. Costa has got his inalienable right to support whatever side he wishes to support. So Mr. Costa, thank you very much. We look forward to all of us working together to bring national prosperity and development to Liberia through the presidency of President George Manneh Weah in the second term. Thank you ever so much, TTJ, bro.
Thank you, Minister Ba. I'll take 2 more calls from here and then we come back to our guests.
Yep.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mo Adam. I want to say thank you so much for the show and thank you so much for the program. You know, I heard you say when I for you, because that you're doing wrong, then you go and do it. For me, you did the right thing and coming to the CDC and I just keep it coming back to reality. And we pray that God give you more strength to do better. But I want to ask, when will you get on the scene to campaign with the president? Thank you so much. Good evening, good evening to the people of Nigeria.
Let's hear you.
president has made some anonymous rules like the report is especially where you are being able to identify with skills that most students get are being their wives. The president has said it should be born, it should be definitely less media tools for the parents. And the president approached process in accordance with people. For example, the president has also pushed process in modern.
Okay, you're very low. We're going to leave you at that. Thank you so much for your input this evening. And we come back to you, Henry. You listen to the callers. I think some people had few questions for you. You can respond to those questions.
Sure. To our brother from the Veterans Bureau, it would be my pleasure and honor to appear and interact with you all. I look forward to it very much excitedly. And to the brother who said he asked when do I go out with the president of the campaign? Whenever the president, I've told the president that whenever he has to go out, that they will put me on the schedule and they will let me know, and I will go out with him. And because, as my brother Minister Thomas said, I'm such that when I am for something, the first thing I have to do is, this is the way I am, right? I have to first come to terms with why I'm doing it. When I supported Joe Biden, then I really believed that I was doing the right thing. That's why I went all the way. Let's tell it true. How many people you know can use their gift to talk for you? Then they turn around, they go be looking for money to sustain you. Young men like me.
You have to be convinced to do that.
Thank you, Titi. I was just spending money, looking for money.
Not only convinced, but overly convinced.
That's how I was. Because that's how I am, Titi. I had a $40,000 a year contract with the late Daniel Cassell.
You threw it away.
I threw it away.
Yes, no.
Because Braga called one day and said, the way I see it, I will lose Cassell to Cassell. So I said, let me terminate the contract. Hey, man, Titi, man. I did all of those things. I didn't do it because of VP Benet. I did it because I felt. So if I could do all the things and turn around today and tell you, say the man and good man, I'm also very convinced. Very way I was convinced that he was good until I became unconvinced that he's not good. Believe you me, all of you who are carried to be me, I know all of you will not leave now. But believe you me, I fought for this man for years. I received me telling you the man not correct. He's not a leader. He parted in America. The other people carry the to court. The man went to America 2021. We had meeting. We bring the people say left say they hala. I could be part of fire. You must try my fire one day. You'll love it. We eat it. Down the face of the meeting, they making solve a simple problem. Somebody wrong. The man who appointed the person actually rule on the man that appointed the person. That appointed her. Simply tell the woman that she misbehaving. But I can't tell her. Because the woman accused the woman.
Whoa.
Bendy Hunter, the head of the women's wing of United Party USA Canada, she was appointed by Capet Dwayne, the chairman. She misbehaving. She undermined the man fired. She said, I'm not fired. Joseph Bagada, my kinsman. We call a meeting. I think he said the man come and tell a woman you're wrong. If so, the man can do it. I said, Lord have mercy. The man is today. The East Coast chapter, they broke away, they sued the other people, but I can fix it. The people who can send small money, because people who can raise money, be sending small money that the people can listen to. Once you get your bag money, you will be cool for the time being.
But what do you think the former vice president did with all the money he got for 12 years then? Because I keep hearing people soliciting funds for him.
They're begging also for money because Joseph Barker is not a prudent manager. Man who had $2.7 million budget, he leave from office, he broke. That the kind of man can face the country. Yeah. That small boy like Costa will be looking for money to feed the kind of man. That the man able to in the town, in the village, you know who they make tanchi?
The strong man.
The man can be the biggest farm, and we get plenty of money. Because any man that get plenty of money, he can make big farm, he get plenty of children. So that brother, you can be tanchi. If you're living in the village, you can be tanchi. You will just be one of the men passing the time giving parable because all you know how to do.
you wanted that rescue. You wanted that rescue.
I take it back. Like calamity dream, they're not rescue dream. Let me tell you, Joseph Bola when he rescue, you know anything about? They're not rescuing the country, they're rescuing himself. The papa gapping. The presidency thing looking for is to get money. They may not get money to see. The message later on. You are vice president for 12 years. You didn't know that you move for office. You didn't save money
For $2.5 million?
every year. So Joseph Boakai trying to rescue himself. So my people, they country now for to get people retirement job. The country are now old folks home, especially an old folk that now want to go to hospital. We go for the money.
That's
that's
troubling.
right.
That's troubling.
That's
So let Jovia continue the job.
Let's hear your final comments, and then we call it a wrap this evening.
Well, thank you very much, Dia. I've had a wonderful time here. And again, I want to thank you guys for the great job you've done here. When you walk in, you can tell much great work you guys have done. I just want to say to all of our people listening, I want you to just sit back. Put the partisan sentiments aside for a moment. Those of you who have followed me over the years, I'm a hard-headed person because I'm driven by my passion and my conviction.
Yep.
The first round, I chose not to support anybody. I kept quiet because I had not developed that passion. The second round, when I realized just how dangerous it is with Joe Boakai and his surrounding, I could not sit back any longer. You may think I'm doing this for personal selfish reasons, but I'm doing it for the country. I'm actually doing it for the country. Let President Weah continue his second term, and we will work with him to ensure that he will do better for the country and continue to do the work that he's been doing. Let's be fair. Let torso and torso. There's been a lot of good things that have happened, but politics can be polarizing. Sometimes you not want to see the good thing.
Yeah, true.
You see the roads in the road with you. You see the medical hospital now hospital with you. When you get sick, where you can go, you can go. So let's just for a moment. I who made the rescue mission. I telling you, say that thing and not the rescue mission. That thing, that hustle mission, that retirement mission. Let's continue with President Weah. That's my humble plea to you. If you truly believe in me and you supported Joe Boakai because of me, I'm telling you now, believe me. It may not make sense now, but it will make sense later. President Weah will be re-elected. Join me. Let's re-elect George Manuel Weah. I will vote for George Weah. And I'm asking all of you who believe in me still, think about it. Go to bed. Pray about it. And join me. Let's vote for George Manuel Weah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Costa. Daniel, let's hear you.
Also, thank you so much, Costa, for honoring our, call to come here today. I mean, Liberians have listened. The good thing about open conversation is that people are home in the evening and they have the opportunity to listen to all that is happening during the course of the day. And the revelations that Colonel Costa made today is something that, like you said, Liberians must have a rethink. I know there are many persons who believed in the rescue mission at the point in time. I think like we saw during the first round. But this second round is basically about country. It's no longer about party sentiments or what have you. And so if you're listening, you honor our voice. We'll continue to say, like we said to you, we'll continue to bring you the information. And you can go all out there and make your own research. And you'll find that these are facts. So it's been a very pleasant Thanksgiving evening. We want to say thank you to our audience too for listening to us. We're going to be back here tomorrow.
Sure. Costa, thank you so much for taking up your time to sit with us this evening on Open Conversation. All of you who listened and didn't call, those of you who called but didn't, and participated, we appreciate you. Also, join us again tomorrow evening.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together. I go. They say you not there, we stand, if I there, we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You for love, I can't take. from Maryland. Follow you from real access. I'm a bastard, we own young people. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, Kriwako. I love Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. Free land and liberty, Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I was raised in the swamp, but I chilled with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I hold in your own. United, we stand divided.